Hi, my name is Zubin and I specialize in public speaking and presentation skills. In my first video, I had told you about posture, about standing tall, and why is it important when you're presenting in front of an audience. In this video, I'm going to tell you about another aspect of presenting, and I call it movement. So when you are on stage and you have an open stage to speak, you have quite a lot of space to cover. You don't have a podium in front of you. What do you do? How much do you move? What is meant by movement? Why is it important? So let me first tell you about what that movement means, and then I'm going to tell you about why it is important. So movement means that I need to utilize that space that I have on stage, but I need to do it strategically. I need to do it in a manner that will work for me and that will help the audience understand the content better, remember the content better. So there's this rule that I follow. Well, I follow these three words. The first word is walk. The second word is stop. And the third word is talk. So what do I mean by walk, stop, talk? Say I am talking about a topic called communication skills. If we take this example, and I am talking about three different subjects on communication, the first being verbal, the second being non-verbal, and the third being written communication. This is what I'm going to do. When I first introduce this subject called verbal communication, I will walk. What does it mean? As an example, I am saying, now I am going to tell you about verbal communication. When I say this sentence, I walk from one point to another on the stage. The movement could be to my left, to my right, diagonally, and when I complete this introduction, this first sentence, I stop. So I move from point A to point B and I stop. After stopping, I talk about that point. So if it's verbal communication, I elaborate on that. I talk more on that point. So walk, stop, talk. Once I've finished this first subject called verbal communication and say I want to move to the next point on non-verbal communication, I now move from point B. Either I move back to point A or I move to point C. Again, when I am physically moving from one point to the other, I am introducing this topic or this subject. When I have done that in one sentence, I stop and then I elaborate. I talk more on that particular subject. Similarly, I do the same thing when I talk about, in this example, about written communication. So this is the rule of movement called walk, stop, talk. Why is it important? This is what happens in the minds of the audience. When you are walking from one point to the other physically, the audience is watching you move physically while they're listening to this introduction to this point that you're talking about. And when you reach point B and you start elaborating on it, people understand what you're saying, people listen to that. When you move to the second point, people can connect to the fact that you're now moving to a new point. So from a perspective of the mind, people also tend to remember your points better when you use this technique of walk, stop, talk. You can practice this. Initially, it would be something that you need to keep in your mind, which means if you don't have this habit, you have to think about it and strategically do this. When you get habituated, when you've developed this habit of movement, walk, stop, talk, you will just be doing this naturally. You don't even have to think about it. Your mind will adapt to this new movement rule: walk, stop and talk. So the next time you're presenting in front of the audience, please start using this method, and you will see a lot of difference in how the audience responds to you. Until next time, and another aspect of presenting in front of an audience, I will bid you goodbye.